Every morning Daniel awoke before the alarm, not because he had to but because the house felt different when he arose with the sun, quiet, soft, still holding its breath. He liked those few minutes when the world hadn't started asking things from him yet. He made pancakes the way his daughter Lily liked, golden, slightly crisp at the edges. For Noah, he cut bananas into perfect little circles. The way the boy insisted was more fair. By the time the kitchen filled with the smell of coffee and butter, the kids came stumbling in with sleepy eyes and messy hair. "Dad, you forgot the syrup lines," Noah said seriously. Daniel smiled and fixed it. Their fairness restored. They laughed. Those small moments were his real job. Teaching history paid the bills, but raising them was the work that mattered. Melissa came down later, already dressed blazer heels, phone in hand. "Morning," Daniel said. She answered, eyes never leaving the screen. Lily hugged her waist. "Mom, you're leaving again." Melissa bent down, kissed her hair quickly. "Just a few days, baby. Mommy has meetings." She said it like she always did. Same tone, same words, like reading from a script. Daniel watched her. Something about her felt elsewhere. At breakfast, she barely touched her food. "You're not hungry?" he asked. "Just nervous about work," she said. "Big clients." Her smile looked right, but it didn't feel right. Noah showed her his drawing stick figures, holding hands under a sun. "That's us," he said. "And that one is you, flying in a plane." Melissa glanced for half a second. "That's nice, sweetheart." Then her phone buzzed. She turned away to read it. Daniel noticed she kept her phone face down on the table now. She never used to do that. Later, while the kids packed their bags for school, Daniel went upstairs. Melissa was zipping her suitcase. "Which hotel are you staying at this time?" he asked casually. She paused just a beat too long. "A Marriott. Downtown, same as last time." "I think so." She didn't look at him when she said it. That small pause sat in his chest longer than it should have. On the drive to school, Lily was quiet. "Are you sad?" Daniel asked her. She nodded. "Mom used to help me brush my hair. Now she's always busy." Daniel reached back and squeezed her hand. "She loves you." Sometimes adults get distracted, but love doesn't go away. He hoped that was true. At school drop-off, Noah hugged him tight. "Promise you won't go anywhere." "I'm not going anywhere," Daniel said. "I'm right here." When he came home, Melissa was in the hallway, pulling on her coat. "I'll call tonight," she said. "Like you always do," Daniel replied softly. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. At the door, she hesitated, then leaned in and kissed his cheek. It felt careful, not warm, not cold, just distant. "Drive safe," he said. She nodded, then walked away without looking back. Daniel stood in the doorway long after her car disappeared. He told himself not to overthink. People got tired. Work changed people. Marriage had seasons. But something in his chest felt unsettled, like a picture slightly crooked on the wall. That night, Lily asked, "Do you think Mom misses us when she's gone?" Daniel pulled both kids close. "Of course she does. Sometimes people don't show things the right way, but missing someone doesn't always look the same." Inside, though, a quiet fear whispered, what if she wasn't missing them at all? Daniel ignored the voice. He always had. He turned off the lights, kissed their foreheads, and sat alone in the dark living room. Trust, he told himself, wasn't about proof. It was about choice. So he chose to trust, even as something deep inside him warned that a storm was already forming. The first night Melissa was gone, Daniel waited by the phone like a habit he couldn't break. 9 o'clock passed, then 10. At 10:30, Lily yawned on the couch. "Did Mommy forget to call?" "She's probably in a meeting," Daniel said gently. "You know how her job is." Noah frowned. "She always calls before bed." Daniel nodded. "Sometimes things change." He said it calmly, but his chest felt tight. At 11, a message finally came. "Long day. Miss you all. Talk tomorrow." No call, no voice, just words. Daniel typed back. "We miss you too. Kids waited for you." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. No reply. The next morning, he packed lunches in silence. The kids ate slower than usual. "She didn't call again," Lily said softly. "She will," Daniel said. "Probably just tired." Noah poked his cereal, tired from what Daniel didn't answer. At school drop-off, Lily hugged him longer than normal. "Don't forget me like she did." His heart clenched. "I won't," he promised. That afternoon, he checked his phone more than he wanted to admit. No messages. When he finally called her, it rang 4 times before going to voicemail. He didn't leave one. That night, the kids made her a video singing, a messy off-key version of their favorite family song. Daniel sent it. "They made this for you." Hours passed. Finally. "That's sweet." Just that. No, "I love you." No hearts. No warmth. Daniel sat in the dark, replaying old memories. Melissa used to send voice notes. Long ones, laughing, teasing, saying she missed his cooking, his quietness, his stupid dad jokes. Now she sent sentences. The second day, he noticed she stopped sharing her location. She used to do it without thinking. Probably updated her phone, he told himself. But the excuse felt thin. "Why doesn't Mommy talk to us anymore?" Noah asked that night. Daniel knelt in front of him. "She's busy. But busy doesn't mean she doesn't love you." "But she loved us before," Noah whispered. Daniel hugged him tightly. That night, he dreamed of calling her name in a crowded room and realizing she couldn't hear him anymore. On the third day, he checked the family email for a school notice and saw a hotel confirmation attached to an old forwarded message. He hadn't noticed it before. Out of curiosity, he opened it. The hotel name wasn't the one she told him. She said Marriott. This said something else. Smaller boutique style. Maybe she changed hotels, he thought. He checked the date. It matched this trip. His hands felt cold. He searched his messages. Which hotel are you staying at? Marriott, downtown. He stared at the screen. The email had her name, same dates, different place. His heart started beating too loud. He told himself not to panic. People switch hotels. Companies change bookings. But he remembered the pause when he asked her, the way she didn't look at him that night. When he called, she didn't answer. He didn't try again. He sat at the table while the kids slept, staring at the screen. Trust, he reminded himself, was a decision. But suspicion didn't ask permission. The idea came from Lily. They were sitting on the living room floor, cutting paper into uneven hearts. It was almost their parents' anniversary, something Daniel had nearly forgotten in the noise of worry. We should surprise Mommy, Lily said suddenly. Like the movies. Daniel looked up, surprise her. How? We go to her, Noah added. With cake? Daniel smiled, then hesitated. The thought of seeing Melissa made his stomach twist not with joy, but with uncertainty. She's busy, he said carefully. And it's far, but it's our anniversary, Lily said. That's special. Daniel stared at the paper hearts in his hands. He wanted to believe in special again. Let's think about it, he said. That night, he lay awake replaying memories how Melissa used to cry happy tears on their anniversaries. How she once said, no matter what changes, I'll always come home to you. Maybe work had just buried her. Maybe she needed to remember who they were. By morning, Daniel had decided, okay, he told the kids at breakfast. We'll surprise her. They gasped like he'd announced a miracle. From that moment, the house felt lighter. They planned in whispers. When Melissa texted, Daniel answered normally, hiding the secret behind ordinary words. They baked a cake on Saturday. It leaned to one side and smelled slightly burned, but Noah called it perfect. Lily wrote happy anniversary Mom and Dad in shaky pink icing. They made cards. Lily drew a big heart around their family. Noah wrote, I love you even when you are far. Daniel watched them work, feeling something warm in his chest, something he hadn't felt in days. Hope they argued over clothes. I want to wear my blue dress, Lily said. No, wear the red one, Noah argued. Red is love. Daniel laughed. You both look like love. That night he packed their bags carefully. He slipped the cake into a cooler like it was something fragile because it was. He told himself this would fix things. Seeing their faces, hearing their voices, feeling family again. Love, he believed, just needed reminding sometimes. On the drive, music played softly. The kids sang. Daniel watched the road and pretended the tightness in his chest was excitement, not fear. Do you think Mommy will cry? Lily asked. Probably, Daniel said. Happy tears. He imagined Melissa opening the door, surprised, smiling, remembering them. He imagined himself forgiving whatever distance had grown between them. The hotel rose ahead of them like a promise. Daniel parked and looked at the kids. Ready? They nodded like soldiers on a happy mission. As they walked inside, Daniel held the cooler carefully. Hope felt heavy, but he carried it anyway. The hotel lobby smelled like flowers and polished floors. Soft music played to calm for what Daniel felt inside. He walked to the front desk, cooler in one hand. Kids pressed close to his sides. Hi, he said. My wife is staying here, Melissa Carter. The receptionist typed, smiled politely, then frowned. I'm sorry, sir. I don't see anyone by that name. Daniel blinked. Maybe under a company booking. She searched again. No, sir. His heart skipped. Could you check the dates? He asked. She did, slowly, then shook her head. Daniel felt heat in his face. She told me she was here. The receptionist hesitated, then leaned closer. Is there any other name she might be using? Daniel swallowed. No. She typed something else, paused. There is a booking matching the dates, but under a different name. Daniel's fingers tightened around the cooler. What name? He asked quietly. She said it. He didn't recognize it, but the dates were right. The room type matched what Melissa always chose. She slid a keycard across the desk. Room 814. The kids looked at him, confused. Is Mommy okay? Lily asked. Yeah, Daniel said too fast. Just mixed up. The elevator ride felt longer than the drive to the hotel. Noah hummed. Lily clutched her card. Daniel felt like he was floating inside his own body. The hallway on the 8th floor was long and quiet. Carpet swallowed their footsteps. Each step felt heavier than the last. The numbers looked ordinary. Too ordinary. Daniel knelt. Wait here for a minute. Okay. But we want to see Mommy, Lily said. I know. Just 1 minute. They nodded reluctantly. Daniel walked alone. Before he even reached the door, he heard it. Laughter. Not polite laughter. Real laughter. A woman's laugh. He knew. His stomach dropped. He stood there, frozen. The sound came again closer now. Softer, intimate. His hand shook as he lifted it. He knocked. Silence. Then footsteps. The handle turned, and the door opened. The door opened slowly. Melissa stood there, Her hair was loose, not the neat style she wore to meetings. Her shirt was wrinkled. Her eyes widened when she saw Daniel. "Daniel," she whispered. Behind her, a man stepped into view. Not a shadow, not a mistake. A man, comfortable, barefoot. Time stopped. No shouting, no anger. Just the sound of Daniel's heart breaking quietly. "Hi," Daniel said. The word felt wrong in his mouth. Melissa's face drained of color. You weren't supposed to." She stopped. The lie had nowhere to go. The man looked confused. "Mel, who is this?" Her silence answered him. Daniel didn't look at the man. He only looked at his wife. "Which hotel did you say you were in?" he asked calmly. She opened her mouth, closed it. "I didn't want to hurt you," she said finally. "You didn't want to get caught," Daniel replied softly, her eyes filled with tears. "It just happened." Daniel nodded once. So did this. Behind him, a small voice whispered, "Mommy." Lily had walked closer. Noah stood beside her. They saw everything. Melissa gasped. "Oh God, babies." Lily stared at the man, then at her mother. "Who is he?" No one answered. Noah started crying without sound. Melissa stepped forward. "Please, this isn't what it looks like." Daniel finally looked at the man. "You can leave." The man grabbed his shoes and walked out, eyes on the floor. The hallway felt too big. Melissa reached for Daniel. He stepped back. "I didn't plan this," she said. "I was lonely. You were always so quiet." Daniel swallowed. "Quiet isn't empty." Lily tugged his hand. "Daddy, can we go home?" "Yes," he said immediately. Melissa fell to her knees. "Please don't take them away from me." Daniel looked at her. "I didn't," he said. "You did." He turned. The kids followed. Melissa cried his name. He didn't answer. In the elevator, Lily sobbed into his coat. Noah held his hand like he might disappear. Daniel stared at the numbers dropping. Not one tear fell. Some pain is too heavy for tears. Outside, he put them in the car, buckled them slowly. When he sat in the driver's seat, his hands shook. He drove without music, without words, without looking back. He didn't scream. He didn't curse. He just left with what dignity he had left to carry. The hotel room Daniel booked felt too quiet, like it didn't know what had just happened. Lily sat on the bed, clutching her card. Noah stood near the window, staring at the lights like they might explain things. Neither spoke at first. Then Lily broke. "She lied," she said. Her voice cracked. "Mommy lied." Noah covered his face. "Did she stop loving us?" Daniel moved to them slowly, like they might shatter. He pulled them both into his arms. They cried into his chest, wetting his shirt with pain he couldn't fix. "She didn't stop loving you," Daniel said. His voice shook. "What she did was wrong. But it wasn't because of you." Noah looked up with red eyes. "Then why did she do it?" Daniel closed his eyes for a moment. "Because adults sometimes make selfish choices, and those choices hurt people they shouldn't." Melissa called. The phone buzzed on the table. Daniel didn't look. It buzzed again and again. Lily flinched at the sound. "Is that her?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Don't answer," Noah whispered. Daniel turned the phone face down. They sat in silence, broken only by small sniffles. Later, Lily asked, "Are you and Mommy not married anymore?" Daniel swallowed. This was the question he feared. "I don't know everything yet," he said carefully. "But I know this what happened isn't okay. And we can't pretend it didn't happen." Noah's voice was small. "Will she come home?" Daniel looked at their faces. The fear, the confusion. "I won't let anyone hurt you again," he said. "Not even if I love them." That night, they slept in one bed. Daniel lay awake between them, listening to their breathing, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his chest. Melissa sent messages. "Please talk to me. I made a mistake. I need my family." Daniel read none of them. In the morning, he took the kids for breakfast. They barely ate. "Can we go home now?" Lily asked. "Yes," he said. "We're going home." The drive back felt longer than the drive there. When they arrived, the house looked the same, but it felt empty, like something important had been stolen. Melissa called again. Daniel answered once. "Don't come back right now," he said. "Daniel, please." The kids saw everything, he said quietly. "They're broken, and you broke them," she cried. He hung up. That night, he sat with the kids. "We're going to be okay," he told them. "Not because nothing bad happened, but because we'll face it honestly." Noah asked, "Does honesty hurt?" "Sometimes," Daniel said, "but lies hurt longer." He filed for separation the next day, not out of anger, out of protection. He didn't tell the kids every detail, but he told them the truth where it mattered. "We won't live with secrets," he said, "and we won't live with fear." They hugged him like he was the only solid thing left in their world. Daniel held the man for the first time since the door opened. He finally cried, not for the marriage, for the children who had to grow up too fast because someone chose to lie. Healing didn't arrive like a sunrise. It came like small stitches, slow, careful, and sometimes painful. The house learned new rhythms. Daniel woke earlier, packed lunches, braided Lily's hair badly but with effort, burned toast some mornings, forgot things, remembered others. Noah started sleeping with the hallway light on. Daniel didn't turn it off. They ate dinner together every night, even when no one felt hungry. They talked about school, about dreams, about nothing. They didn't talk about her, not much. Legal papers arrived in plain envelopes. Daniel read them at night when the kids slept. He didn't feel angry, he felt finished. Melissa tried to come back. She stood at the door one afternoon, eyes swollen, voice shaking. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," she said. Daniel stepped outside so the kids wouldn't hear. "You didn't make one mistake," he said. "You made a choice. I can fix this," she begged. He shook his head. "You can't unshow them what they saw," she cried. "He didn't. Please," she whispered. Daniel spoke softly. "Loving someone doesn't mean letting them destroy your home." He closed the door. That night, Lily asked, "Was Mommy here?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Did she leave again?" "Yes," Lily nodded. "Okay," Noah asked. "Are we bad because she left?" Daniel knelt in front of him. "She didn't leave you. She left her responsibility. That's not your fault." Slowly, the kids changed. Lily laughed again. Not every day but more than before. Noah stopped checking the door at night. They started planning weekends again, movies, parks, pancakes on Saturdays. Daniel felt something growing inside him, not happiness, stability. He learned that strength didn't need shouting. It lived in waking up, in staying, in choosing peace over revenge. Melissa stopped calling after a while. Silence replaced chaos. And in that silence, Daniel discovered something. He could breathe. One evening Lily said, "Daddy, I like our quiet." Daniel smiled. "Me too." He looked around the living room, the same walls, the same furniture, but it felt like a new life had moved in. He realized then, leaving wasn't losing, it was surviving. And survival was the bravest kind of love. Healing didn't arrive like a sunrise. It didn't flood the house with light or erase the dark corners overnight. It came in pieces, small, careful steps that sometimes hurt as much as they helped. The house learned new rhythms. Daniel woke earlier than before. He learned how to braid Lily's hair, though it often came out crooked. She wore it proudly anyway. He burned toasts more times than he liked to admit. Some mornings, he forgot where he put his keys. Other mornings, he remembered to pack little notes in the kids' lunches. "I'm proud of you. You're strong. I love you." Noah started sleeping with the hallway light on. Daniel didn't turn it off. They ate dinner together every night, even when the food tasted like nothing. They talked about school, cartoons, and silly dreams. They didn't talk about Melissa much, not because it didn't hurt, but because saying her name made the pain louder. Legal papers arrived in plain white envelopes. Daniel opened them at night after the kids were asleep. He read words like custody and separation and agreement, and felt nothing dramatic, just tired. He signed where he was told. He didn't cry, he didn't feel angry anymore. He felt finished. Melissa came back one afternoon. Daniel saw her through the window before she knocked. His chest tightened, but he didn't panic. He stepped outside and closed the door behind him. "I made the biggest mistake of my life," she said, her voice breaking. "I can fix this." Daniel looked at her for a long moment. "You can't unbreak what the kids saw," he said quietly. "I was lonely," she cried. "You were always so distant." "Distance isn't betrayal," Daniel replied. "What you did was a choice." She reached for him. He stepped back. "Please," she whispered. "I need my family." Daniel's voice stayed calm. "Loving someone doesn't mean letting them destroy your home." He went inside. That night, Lily asked, "Was Mommy here?" "Yes," Daniel said. "Did she leave again?" "Yes." Lily nodded slowly. "Okay," Noah asked. "Is she gone because we're bad?" Daniel knelt and held his face gently. "She didn't leave because of you. She left her responsibility. That's not your fault." The days kept moving. Lily started laughing again, not every day, but often enough to matter. Noah stopped checking the front door at night. They began planning things again. Movie nights, park trips, pancakes, every Saturday morning. Daniel noticed something growing inside him. Not joy, not yet, but stability. He learned that strength didn't need noise. It didn't shout or prove or punish. Strength woke up every morning. Strength stayed. Strength chose peace instead of revenge. Melissa stopped calling. Silence replaced chaos. And in that silence, Daniel found space to breathe. One evening, Lily said softly, "Daddy, I like our quiet." Daniel smiled. "Me too." He looked around the room, the same couch, the same walls, but it felt like a new life had moved in. He finally understood. Leaving wasn't losing, it was survival. And survival was the bravest form of love he had ever known. I never wanted to stand here writing this, reflecting on everything that happened. But I've learned that sometimes silence isn't strength, it's a prison. And sometimes speaking the truth isn't for revenge, it's for survival. I want you to understand what I've learned, not just as a father or a husband, but as a human being who trusted deeply and was betrayed. First, love without honesty is not love at all. Love is built on truth. It is held together by little moments of trust, not by grand gestures or empty promises. Melissa taught me that the absence of honesty doesn't just hurt, it destroys the foundation we think is solid. When the truth is hidden, love becomes fragile, and even the strongest walls crumble. You can't build a family or a life on lies. Second, silence can be strength. I spent weeks questioning myself, wondering if I should confront, scream, or beg. But I learned that silence is not weakness, it's discipline. Walking away quietly, protecting my children from the explosion, choosing dignity over anger, those were the acts of strength that shaped the new life we have today. Sometimes the right action is not the loud one. Sometimes the right action is choosing yourself and protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Third, children always pay the price for adult lies. I watched Lily and Noah's innocence fracture in an instant. They asked questions no child should ever ask. Did she stop loving us? Are we why she left? Their small faces reflected confusion and pain. Betrayal isn't just between two adults, it echoes in the minds of the little ones who trusted implicitly. Protecting them became my purpose. Their healing became my mission. And I realized that honesty, even when hard, is the greatest gift I can give them. Fourth, walking away can be victory. Leaving Melissa that day was not easy. Part of me ached. Part of me wanted answers, confrontation, even justice. But leaving, choosing to walk away with my dignity intact, with my children safe, was not defeat, it was triumph. It was victory over lies, betrayal, and the version of love that pretended to be something it wasn't. Walking away allowed us to rebuild, slowly, piece by piece. It allowed us to find stability and trust again. I won't lie, the nights were long, the mornings were heavy. Some days, the absence of someone who should have been there felt like a hollow echo. But every day, I learned that survival is not loss. Survival is strength. Survival is love measured in quiet, consistent care. Survival is proof that even after betrayal, life can be rebuilt, stronger and more honest than before. I learned to embrace my own worth not because I deserved better, but because I had to. I had to show my children that self-respect isn't negotiable. I had to teach them that dignity cannot be traded for temporary comfort or illusionary happiness. I learned that protecting my family and myself was the most powerful love I could ever offer. And now, I speak to you not as someone who has all the answers, but as someone who knows the weight of betrayal and the quiet courage it takes to rise after it. Have you ever trusted someone who betrayed you? Did you stay silent or did you choose yourself? It is hard, it is painful, but choosing yourself, setting boundaries, and protecting those you love is never the wrong choice. Sometimes walking away is the only way to truly stay. If this story touched you, share your truth below. Your story might save someone else. Someone who's silent in fear. Someone who believes betrayal is their fault. Someone who needs to know that survival, honesty, and dignity are worth more than any fleeting illusion of love. Remember, love is more than words. It is honesty, respect, and truth. Silence can be strength, but courage is stronger. Children feel every lie, and walking away can be the most powerful act of love you'll ever make. I won't promise it gets easy. I won't promise the scars disappear. But I will promise this. When you stand by your truth, when you protect what matters, and when you choose yourself in the face of betrayal, you are not weak, you are alive. You are strong, you are worthy. And sometimes, surviving with integrity is the most beautiful story of all. Have you ever trusted someone who betrayed you? Did you stay silent or did you choose yourself? If this story touched you, share your truth below. Your story might save someone else.